This piece was written by Eve Ensler to celebrate vagina warriors around the world. I have sat with women in crowded factories in Juarez, in crumbling shelters in the back streets of Cairo, in makeshift centers for teenage girls and women in Jerusalem, Johannesburg, Pine Ridge, and Watts, in mansions in Hollywood, in burnt-out backyards in Kosovo and Kabul, in a moving van after midnight with sex-trafficked girls in Paris. Sometimes these meetings went on for hours. In the case of the 17-year-old Bulgarian sex slave, we had 35 minutes before her pimp came looking for her. I have heard the staggering stories of violence, war rapes, gang rapes, date rapes, license rapes, family rapes. I have seen firsthand the scars of brutality, black eyes, cigarette hole burns in arms and legs, a melted face, bruises, slices, and broken bones. I have witnessed women living without what is fundamental: sky, sun, a roof, food, parents, a clitoris, freedom. I have been there when skulls washed up on riverbanks and naked, mutilated female bodies were discovered in ditches. I have seen the worst. The worst lives in my body. But in each and every case, I was escorted, transformed, and transported by a guy, a visionary, an activist, an outrageous fighter and dreamer. I have come to know these women, and sometimes men, as vagina warriors. It was Zoya who first took me to the muddy Afghan camps in Pakistan. Rada who translated the stories of women refugees as we traveled through war-torn Bosnia. Megan who led pro-vagina cheers on a freezing cold campus in Michigan. Ego who made jokes about landmines as we sped in her Jeep through the post-war roads outside Pristina, Kosovo. Esther who took me to the graves marked with pink crosses in Juarez, Mexico. Agnes who walked me up the path with dancing and singing Maasai girls dressed in red, celebrating the opening of the first V-Day safe house for girls fleeing female genital mutilation. At first I thought this was just a rare group of individuals, specific women who had been violated or witnessed so much suffering that they had no choice but to act. But after 5 years of traveling and 40 countries later, a pattern has emerged, an evolving species. Vagina warriors are everywhere. In a time of escalating and explosive violence on the planet, these warriors are fostering a new paradigm. Although vagina warriors are highly original, they possess some general defining characteristics.
They are fierce, obsessed, can't be stopped, driven.
They are no longer beholden to social customs or inhibited by taboos. They are not afraid to be alone, not afraid to be ridiculed or attacked. They are often willing to face anything for the safety and freedom of others.
They love to dance!
They are directed by vision, not ruled by ideology.
They are citizens of the world. They cherish humanity over nation. They have a wicked sense of humor. A Palestinian activist told jokes to an Israeli soldier who held a machine gun at her at a checkpoint. She literally disarmed him with her humor.
Vagina warriors know that compassion is the deepest form of memory.
They know that punishment does not make abusive people behave better. They know it is more important to provide a space where the best can emerge rather than teaching people a lesson. I met an extraordinary activist in San Francisco, a former prostitute who had been abused as a child. Working with the correctional system, she devised a therapeutic workshop where convicted pimps and johns could confront their loneliness, insecurity, and sorrow.
Vagina warriors are done being victims. They know no one is coming to rescue them. They would not want to be rescued. They have experienced their rage, depression, desire for revenge, and they have transformed them from grieving and service. They have confronted the depths of their darkness. They live in their bodies. They are community makers. They bring everyone in.
Vagina warriors have a keen ability to live with ambiguity. They can hold two existing opposite Muslim woman activist in a refugee camp whose husband had been decapitated by a Serb. I asked her if she hated Serbs. She looked at me as if I were crazy. No, I do not hate Serbs, she said. If I were to hate Serbs, then the Serbs would have won.
Vagina warriors know that the process of healing from violence is long, and it happens in stages. They give what they need the most. And by giving this, they heal and activate the wounded part inside. Many vagina warriors work primarily on a grassroots level, because what is done to women is often done in isolation and remains hidden and unreported. Vagina warriors work to make the invisible seen. Mary in Chicago, for example, fights for the rights of women of color so that they are not disregarded or abused. And Nigat risked stoning and public shaming in Pakistan by producing the vagina monologues in Islamabad so that the stories and passions of women would not go unheard. Can you imagine producing vagina monologues in Islamabad? Esther insists that the hundreds of disappeared girls in Juarez, Mexico are honored and not forgotten.
For the Native people, a warrior is one whose basic responsibility is to protect and preserve life. The struggle to end violence on this planet is a battle, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, and physical. It requires every bit of our strength, our courage, and our fierceness. It means speaking out when everyone says to be quiet. It means doing the distance to hold the perpetrators accountable for their actions. It means honoring the truth even when it means losing family, country, and friends. It means developing the spiritual muscle to enter and survive the grief that violence brings, and in that dangerous space of stunned unknowing, inviting the deeper wisdom.
Like vaginas, warriors are central to human existence, but they still remain largely unvalued and unseen. This year, V-Day celebrates vagina warriors around the world, and by doing so, we acknowledge these women and men and their work. In every community, there are humble activists working every day, beat by beat, to undo suffering. They sit by hospital beds, pass new laws, chant taboo words, write boring proposals, beg for money, demonstrate and hold vigils in our streets. They are our mothers, our daughters, our sisters, our aunts, our grandmothers, and our best friends. Every woman has a warrior inside her waiting to be born. In order to guarantee a world without violence, in a time of danger and escalating madness, we urge them to come out. Celebrate vagina warriors. Let them be honored and seen. We are proud to present to you the V-Day 2004 Worcester Vagina Warriors.